My name is Braden Preston, and I am our Director of Product at Elastic Security. I'm specifically responsible for our EDR capabilities, or endpoint detection and response. But for the next 20 to 25 minutes here, I'm going to go over everything that we're doing with Elastic Security, from our SIEM use case, our endpoint detection and response use case, as well as our newly introduced cloud-native security use case, all built within Elastic. So all the presentations you've seen today, all the great talks you've seen and the use cases that we've gone through, all of that is relevant for what we're going to talk to about security. Before I start, I do want to thank all of you for being here. There's a lot of you here in person, which is amazing. I'm really glad. I've already had a few interactions with some of you, learning about how you're using Elastic and specifically Elastic Security. And I also want to thank our fantastic production crew who made a childhood dream of mine come true. I'm a professional baseball player, and I got my own walk-up music, which was really exciting as I walked up to the stage. So we're going to start. You've seen this slide at a couple of other presentations that we've gone through. So I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, but I really want to do a little bit of problem statement framing here when we start, that we are living in a world, and especially in the public sector, where you are just inundated with data. Data from logs, data from security events, data from private clouds, public cloud providers. It's all coming in, and it's in different forms: structured, unstructured, semi-structured, stuff that wants to be structured. All these different forms of data, different regions, different enclaves, high side, low side to high side, all these different things that you've got to try to aggregate, get it in one spot, and then really understand. But your bosses really don't care about data getting more complex, data getting being unstructured. Your users don't care about this problem as well. So you still need to be able to ingest all this data in a platform that is highly scalable, that allows you to select what you're bringing in and make it actionable. Once that data is in, you need to be able to search it. You need to be able to analyze it. You need to be able to generate the outcomes that you are intended to generate from all this data, whether it's through visualization, whether it's through exploration of that data, or what we're going to talk about a lot today is preventing, detecting, and responding to threats that you might see in the environments that you are responsible for protecting. And so what's really exciting is that the Elastic Security solution is built upon the foundation of Elastic, all available to you within the Elastic Stack, but generates these outcomes that you are looking for from a security solution perspective. A single unified platform that solves SIEM-based use cases, SIEM, security, information, and event management. You're bringing all this security data in and being able to generate these events and outcomes that you're looking for, detection, and then being able to turn those detections into response. We've introduced recently, about a year and a half ago, our EDR capabilities, endpoint detection and response. Delivered through our single unified agent, we have the ability to prevent attacks directly on the host. And I'll talk a little bit about this in more detail later. But now, not only are we collecting all these events and detecting things, but we can take that next proactive action and stop the attacks before damage and loss occurs. And then finally, newly introduced our cloud-native security capabilities. So whether you're protecting private cloud infrastructure running Kubernetes, whether you are protecting and aggregating data from public cloud infrastructure, trying to understand your posture, running CIS benchmarks, et cetera, that's all now built in natively into the Elastic Security solution, built on top of the Elastic Stack. On your left-hand side of the slide, you could bring in all your own data. So maybe you're running your own endpoint solution, maybe you're running your network aggregation, your logging tools. Bring all of that data in, analyze it in the stack, or leverage our Elastic Defend capabilities for prevention, EDR detection, and response as well. As you know, Elastic is built to be open and transparent, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So no matter what your data sets are, no matter what your security use cases require you to deliver, we have the solution for you. Your own data, our native data, for SIEM, security information and event management related use cases, EDR, and now cloud native security related use cases. So moving on, I understand this is a bit of an eye chart, but I'm going to kind of walk through it and give you an overview of everything that we're doing in a little bit more detail within the Elastic Stack, within the Elastic Security solution delivered on the Elastic Stack. So we'll start with the protected host, the lower layer of this chart. And this is where I was talking about those EDR, EPP, endpoint protection platform related capabilities. The ability to be able to stop attacks directly on the host. Whether those attacks are your traditional malware, an attacker dropping on, trying to execute an executable, a file-based executable. We have machine learning models running directly on the host that will stop known and unknown malware-based attacks. We also include ransomware prevention. We include memory threat prevention, stopping an attacker from injecting malicious code and running resident inside of memory, often referred to as fileless type attacks. We have the ability to stop those as well. All of that on the pre-execution side. And we also are analyzing behaviors, again, directly on that host. So we can identify malicious activity, malicious behaviors that attacker might be exhibiting, and then stop them again before that attack can progress and they can accomplish their objectives. Again, right on the host, whether that host is connected or disconnected from the main platform, and we'll touch on that again in a little bit as well. That central layer that you see on the slide is the security solution platform, what you would interact with as an analyst on a day-to-day basis. We deliver over 700 out-of-the-box detections that will run on any data set that you bring in. So you can detect threats that might be resident in your environments, detect misconfigurations on your cloud assets that you may be running, again, private or public cloud, alert you to those, and then give you the tools to respond to those threats, whether it is isolating a host, quarantining a host from the network, or terminating processes that might be malicious on that, again, directly within this solution. And then we started from the bottom, and now we're here at the top with our Elastic Labs team. And the team that is here with Elastic Labs is incredible. They are the research minds behind all of the out-of-the-box content that we are delivering to hopefully make your jobs a lot easier. We want to deliver out-of-the-box detection, out-of-the-box prevention within Elastic Security so that you can do the job that you're paid to do, and that is remediate and make sure your environments are safe. So those engineers, those detection engineers, those researchers are all developing this content and delivering this content directly to you to find threats in your environment. And again, as I pointed out earlier, and I'll talk about this as we go through even more, this is able to run on the data that we provide via our Elastic Agent and our Elastic Defend capabilities, or your own data that you bring in from all the disparate data sources, firewall, identity management providers, other EDR solutions, cloud logs, et cetera, all available to you no matter what that data looks like. And we're building this solution for the modern security operations. Modern security operations meaning that you can't rely on perimeter-based defenses. You've got to be able to aggregate all this data. And that's what we're really about, is building this so that your security operations can operate in a way that's appropriate for your agency, for your business, all within, again, the same solution. When I talk about modern security operations, I'm going to try to simplify it kind of in 5 sort of pillars, if you will. And then I'll talk through how Elastic fits into each one of these pillars. We firmly believe that a modern security operations program, a modern security operations platform, a security solution needs to be open and transparent. Long gone are the days where we can hide behind this veil of security by obscurity, where if nobody knows what we're doing, nobody knows what our magical machine learning models are doing, nobody knows what our rules that are running, we're going to inherently be more secure. That's just not true. We are more secure when we are open about what we are doing, when our rules are published and available, you understand what's waiting our machine learning models, because you can then be able to understand your risk profile better. What is being missed? What can I do to augment this security solution, because I can see everything that they're doing. So look for these security solutions to be open and transparent if you're evaluating products today. You need to ensure that they're delivering actionable analytics-powered results, so that your analysts don't need to do the menial tasks of doing the actual analytics themselves. The security solution should do that for you. And they should do it fast in a very scalable manner. So fast meaning in an industry, if you're securing, you're protecting assets, you're protecting data, milliseconds truly matter. So that platform, that security platform that you're running, needs to be fast, and it needs to be scaled to all that data that we talked about earlier, structured, unstructured, and the vast amounts that are coming in. And we're looking at ensuring that those remedial tasks, those menial tasks of collecting data, ingesting data, normalizing data, are automated. So again, your analysts don't have to do that, and they can focus on generating the outcomes that are important for the organization or the agency, and that is stopping attacks before damage and loss can occur. And finally, a modern security solution needs to meet you where you are. Whether you are running self-managed on-premise, whether you're comfortable running in a public cloud infrastructure, where you've built a private cloud infrastructure, if you're downrange on a tactical, disconnected, low bandwidth network, that security solution needs to meet you where you are to ensure that you have 100% coverage no matter what your operations are. And that really is what the Elastic security difference is. We are open and integrated. All of our detection content is available for the public to see. And we do that so that you can see what you're doing. I talked about it earlier, so you can understand your risk profile much better, and you can contribute to that content. And we truly believe that by opening up these rules, we're able to raise all boats. The baseline of security becomes better when you are open and transparent. All of our detection content, all of our prevention content is completely open. We develop in the open, and we love getting the community feedback on what we're doing. And we will also integrate with any data that you have to bring in. So that integrated piece is critically important. We also deliver native protections and preventions. So being able to stop attacks on the host itself before any damage and loss can occur, all delivered within that Elastic security solution. And those native protections are available whether you are connected or disconnected. There's no loss in efficacy if you don't have internet connection or you're not available to connect back to the main platform. They all run natively directly on the host, preventing malware, ransomware, memory threats that I talked about earlier. And we had already some talks on this. You're going to hear talks on this later. Elastic is just built to scale. I don't need to dwell on it here. You've heard about it. You love it. You use it today. It's built for today's scale, and it's built for tomorrow's scale. We also deliver automated insights for you to be able to take action on. User-based analytics, entity-based analytics, host-based analytics, all of these things, these insights are available within the Elastic security solution. And then we support all environments: on-premise, public cloud, private cloud, disconnected. And I'm going to talk a little bit about DIL, or disconnected intermittent latent networks now, and how we uniquely at Elastic support those use cases. Tactical or enterprise networks, we have solutions, the ability to stop attacks on those. So the first pillar I'll talk about there is centralized and on-host threat detection and threat hunting. So Elastic's architecture model for Elastic security is we have the ability to send all of the data to a central location, the Elastic security solution, that gives you the ability to threat hunt on that data, to run those analytics that I talked about earlier, those detection rules, on that data in a centralized fashion. So you're able to run your threat hunts, find detections, even if that endpoint goes away for weeks, months, years, and never comes back, because all that data is centralized and stored within Elastic, and you can enjoy all the speed, scale that Elastic has to offer. But there are times when, for bandwidth reasons, for connectivity reasons, for whatever it is, you cannot centralize all the data all the time. And you need to be able to reach out to that host directly and query that host to get information from it, whether it's near real time or on a scheduled basis. And with the power of our Elastic agent, you can do that. You can say, okay, only send me this data at this time of day because that's when I have my satellite link update or nobody else is using the network at that time. And so you have the best of both worlds, both centralized data for threat hunting, but also local data stored on the host that you can query directly for your threat hunting capabilities. Critically important in DIL networks is to ensure that you still have all of your host-based preventions working and as efficient and false positive reduction, or reduce false positives, when that host is offline. And that is what we deliver with Elastic Agent. 100% feature parity, 100% efficacy, whether that host is connected or disconnected. If you're in a submarine or you're on Starbucks, you can ensure that host is protected. And in the event that we do have to update those artifacts, we can update them in an offline manner for air-gapped networks and other solutions where they might not be able to reach out to cloud services for updates, as an example. So you have the ability to update those artifacts in air-gapped environments. Something that is incredibly cool, blows my mind every time I see it. Dr. Tim Robinson is going to give a great talk on this in about an hour, I believe, 50 minutes or so. And that's cross-cluster search. We're able to bring the search directly to the data, wherever that data lives, using our cross-cluster search capability. So if you have multiple enclaves, some of them maybe low bandwidth, they can't send the data back to a centralized cluster all the time. Leveraging cross-cluster search, or CCS as we call it, you can bring the search directly to that data and only return the relevant results that you need to accomplish the mission. And then finally, leveraging our data tiering architecture, moving data from hot, super, super fast, warm, also super fast, cold into frozen. You can search back data years upon years upon years. So if somebody asks you, hey, did we have this supply chain attack that we just found out about, but it could have occurred in our environment 2 years ago, you can still search that data and provide 100% mission assurance that you're safe, that you're good, or if you're not, take those remediation actions that we deliver through our detection rules, no matter how old that data is, and get those results back super fast. And I've talked about this a lot, that analysis that wherever you are. If you're in a public cloud, great, our solution works for you. If you're running on-premise, great, we have a solution that works for you, all built on the power of Elastic that I hope that you're all enjoying. This is the part of the show where I say, don't take my word for it, we're really great. This image, you may have seen it earlier in the keynote. This is the very latest Forrester analysts, their wave for security analytics, basically SIEM, Security Information and Event Management. And Elastic is a leader in the category. Kind of point to it, but we're up there. It's a bit of an eye chart, but we are in that leaders category for security information and event management and security analytics. And highest rated according to strategy. So the direction that you are all going, we know where you're going to be, and we're building a solution for you directly. The same with our endpoint security capabilities, a leader here as well. So you have the best technology available to you built within a unified product so that your analysts don't have to worry about pivoting from this tool to this tool to this tool. It's all unified in this solution. You don't get that swivel chair syndrome, if you will. Okay, now I got to get the data from here, now here, go back here, now I got to go back to this tool to respond. That's all built with the best technology in the single solution that we have to offer. So I talked a lot about where we are today. I want to briefly highlight what's coming in each of those different use cases. Security analytics and SIEM, endpoint detection and response, and cloud-native security. And we'll start with SIEM. A lot of exciting developments in each of these. I had to pick three to talk about today. So in SIEM, you've probably heard us talk about it already today, but we are building an incredibly powerful analytics language built directly into Elasticsearch, calling it ESQL, Elasticsearch Query Language. But what this is going to allow you to do is build analytics directly into your search. Do aggregations, transforms, all the advanced calculations that you might want to do within the search query itself. So it allows you to deliver more relevant results that are actionable as you're moving forward. We're really excited about this capability, and it's going to be coming very soon in our overall Elastic, so you can use it in Elasticsearch, use it in Discover, but as well as in the security solution directly. We're also going to be adding user and expanding upon our user and entity behavior analytics, or UEBA, if you're a fan of acronyms. So looking at things like host risk score, user risk score, understanding better what users are doing in your environment. Are they doing anything anomalous? They're getting more risky over time, trying to identify those insider threats in an environment and scoring those users and other assets like hosts. We're going to be adding that into our security solution. And we're going to be ever expanding our data source library. So more integrations, both of data coming in and with tools going out, ticketing systems, those sorts of things, expanding upon the over hundreds of integrations we already have. EDR, we're going to be building more response actions, file operations, allowing you to execute scripts on hosts, automatically rolling back changes on those hosts. So in the cases where that attacker or that endpoint is disconnected, you don't have to connect back to the host to do those response actions. It's going to roll back changes made by that malicious actor so that operations can continue. And then moving more into what is traditionally called that EPP space, or endpoint protection platforms, adding application, device, and firewall control as part of our EDR capabilities. And then finally, cloud native security. When I say cloud native, I don't just mean public cloud, private clouds, Kubernetes, all of this is included here. But building in drift protection, ensuring that you're maintaining your baseline within your containers. Vulnerability management and cloud native vulnerability management, and cloud and container posture and monitoring, all coming very soon within the Elastic Security solution. And I want to make sure that I highlight that bottom bar. This is all within a unified platform in what you already have when you're using Elastic. So it's not a new SKU. It's not a new thing you got to go buy and install. That's all available to you today within Elastic, within Elastic Security, in that unified platform. So please, if you're not taking advantage of it, take advantage of it. It's there for you to use. A few call to actions, things that if you want to learn more that you can do here. On our website, we have a SIEM buyer's guide if you want to learn more about our SIEM technology. You can try us for yourself for free on cloud.elastic.co. Please do that. I mentioned that Elastic Security Labs team earlier. They just recently released a global threat report. So this is what we see in the threat landscape, things you should be aware of, things you should be worried about protecting, content that we have built in our solution that will protect you from these attacks. I'm here the rest of today. We have a number of Elastic Security experts that are here, engineers, solutions architects. They're all next door in our expo. You can get a demo of the solution, see how it's working. Please check that out. And if you'll indulge me for a little bit, I'd like to maybe wrap with a bit of a personal story. I've been lucky enough to be a product manager in cybersecurity for a good while now, most of my career. And during that time, I've also been lucky enough to start a family, a wife. I have 2 kids. My daughter, she's the oldest. She's 7 now. And she's starting to get to the age, like if you have kids, like they ask a lot of questions. She's starting to get to the age where she's asking questions like, Daddy, what do you do every day? When you go to work, what do you do? And I realized it's really, really hard to explain cybersecurity product management to a 7-year-old. But what we ended up coming up with is we at Elastic stop bad guys from getting in computers. That's what our goal is. We want to stop bad guys from getting in computers and stealing your data. This blew my daughter's mind. She walked away thinking I was a superhero. And I soaked that up for a little bit. Once my ego subsided, I started thinking about the analogy, and in truth, it's not true. I'm not a superhero. Elastic's not a superhero. I think if you were to use the superhero analogy, maybe we're closer to Alfred in Batman. We build the products and the tools that enable superheroes, that enable you all to go out and protect the world's data from attack. So I want to conclude with just a thank you for everything you do to keep our data safe and keep our people safe by stopping attacks and protecting our world's data from attack. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the show. I really appreciated your time today.